Welcome to the Creator Hour on the Full Dive Gaming Podcast. In the Creator Hour, we spotlight VR content creators, talk about their upcoming projects and what they're doing to spread the joy of VR. We brought back Tyson of the VR channel 2BIT IRL. They're on day 6 of 7 on a VR treadmill. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Tyson, how are you, buddy?
I am very immersed. I am very tired. And it has been a heck of a time. Thank you guys so much for having me back. I'm really excited to talk about this. Things have gone differently than I expected, and it's been a good time.
I'm really glad to hear. While we're saying thank you, of course, our podcast is sponsored by Asterion Products. We have to tell you about them because they make amazing VR and AR headset stands. You can save an extra 10% on Full Dive 10. And 2BIT just got his own over here, right?
Yeah, I do. It's I can pull it up later. I've got it. It's an awesome stand. I really like it.
Thank you for coming back even while stuck in a headset on a VR treadmill. First question, how long do you have left?
I have just about 24 hours left on the headset. I think just for timing reasons, I'll probably go just slightly over the 7-day mark. But we're just about 24 hours left on the treadmill while we're recording this.
Nice.
Yeah,
so close.
yeah, you're getting close.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It has been, it has gone really fast, and it has also gone very slow, if you know what I'm talking about. Because there have been really low lows, and there have been really high highs during this whole process. It has been a blast, and it has been a horrible experience all in one.
Well, I think that's the thing people are going to ask the first thing. What was the worst part? So what's the hardest thing you had to deal with so far?
So the hardest thing that I've had to deal with is actually the sleep. And it's not necessarily because of the sleep itself, but it's because the sleep quality I've gotten sucks. And when your sleep quality sucks, it makes everything harder. So the hardest thing has been sleep. And I thought I would have that in the bag. You know, I was like, all right, I've got pillows, I've got padding. It's all good. Sleeping's been rough. I would say that is the number one hardest thing because it makes everything else harder too.
True. So true. I know. I got to get my full night's sleep. Otherwise, I'm like...
Absolutely. Especially when like you're on a treadmill, you're trying to run around and everything and your sleep. Like, so this is day 2. I didn't get a lot of sleep because it was my first night actually sleeping in the headset. I hadn't actually tested it through a full night. I'd laid down, but I hadn't tested it through a full night. And I got so little sleep that first night. And the next day, just like every step was like, oh, so exhausting. I was so tired.
No.
Yeah.
So tough.
I'm doing a lot better now, though. So
yeah, you seem very energetic today. What has surprised you the most about this experience?
Oh man, the amount of support probably. I expected this to be sort of like kind of weird, and people might stop by and take a look and be like, that's pretty crazy that he's doing this. But we have had, there's been a handful of people that have been in the chat pretty much the entire time, like all of my waking hours. It's been absolutely crazy, the amount of support. And I think the other most surprising part is just how thoroughly I feel like my brain has accepted VR after hitting a certain point. It was sort of after that 3-day mark. Roughly after that 3-day mark, all of a sudden my brain was just like, you know what? Sure, we're in a VR headset, and sleep got easier. And the second I launched a game, I was like fully immersed in it. The way I've been describing that is if you've ever played VR for like 6 hours in a row, like you get really hooked in a game and you're getting like physically into it. You know how like you're really immersed, you take off the headset and it's kind of jarring. I get to that point instantly whenever I launch any given VR game, which is really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's something for those of us who have been in VR a long time. You kind of want to get those feelings back because usually you lose them over time, you know? And so it's always cool when you find a new way to do something and it kind of takes you back to that like young VR brain that you had when you first tried VR.
Yeah.
So you've been streaming 24/7, something you've never done. Tell us about that experience and what's surprised you, what's been fun, what's been not fun about that.
So I knew that there was going to be technical difficulties, but because I'm new to the treadmill and because I was new to streaming, there have been a lot of technical difficulties. And I found that solving those live on stream, I've been really stressful because it's like, oh, geez, I know people don't want to watch me solve technical details. They want to see me in a game. And I've had to like really accept like, you know what? No, it's okay. I've had to learn to just sort of calm down, take it slow, and people are along for the ride. So yeah, there's definitely been that. And then also there's a certain amount of it can be socially fatiguing, right? Just because I'm essentially reading chat and responding. I'm being social all day long. and then you lay down to sleep, and it's in the back of your head like, people are watching you sleep. Oh, you better not like twist your leg weird or like you know. Yeah, it's been an adjustment. I've been okay as far as like talking to people. I haven't really minded that, but it is actually very mentally fatiguing being live 24/7 because you never really have a break.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I feel like I would have a very hard time with that, especially the sleep thing. I'd be like, wake up in the middle of the night, like, people are watching me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one to
play-
adjust to.
Yeah, I bet. Did you play any games that you've never played before on this week-long stream?
Yes. It has been a full week, and at this point, like the days have completely blended together. So I'm trying to think, but I've been playing a number of games that I'd never touched before. Yesterday we played Propagation. Yesterday was like the spooky themed day. The scariest part of the spooky day was the technical issues. It was definitely the most technically challenged day of the full week. But Propagation, because I'm so immersed, like normally I don't get very scared by horror games. But there's this point, spoiler alert if you're going to go play Propagation, but there's this point that you kill like a massive spider and this creepy like Wendigo looking thing crawls out of it and goes into the ceiling. And I'm sitting there like, where to go, right? And I hear like breathing above me. And I look up and I freak out because it's right above me. I like legitimately like fell on the treadmill. I'm like, oh gosh. Oh God. God.
Oh no.
So yeah, I've spooky games is definitely one of them. VR chat I had played, but not really had much. I hadn't played much. We've been doing that, and it's been shocking to me the not only the amount of worlds, but the quality of the worlds that are around on VR chat. Yeah. So those are probably the two that have been that are the freshest on my mind right now. But I've been playing a lot of games that I haven't done before.
Nice.
Big question. It's been almost a week. You've been showering in VR, but how do you feel? Do you feel clean? What have the showers been like?
So, I do feel decently clean. During the day, especially if I start out the day with something really intensive, I'll get feeling pretty gross. I'll get feeling pretty salty. And I've added a second shower to my routine because I was starting it. I was just going to shower in the mornings. I'm now showering at night as well because I just need it because by the end of the day, you don't feel clean. But as far as showering with the headset, it is, my face feels like it could definitely use some more care, because you can only clean so well. So for anybody that doesn't know, I have like a smartphone VR, like one of those plastic headsets that I'm using for showers. And I put that on, and when I go to clean, I have to like try not to like tug too hard on the top thing so I don't take it off. And I'm like getting shampoo, I'm like pulling my hair out of the way, and I'm getting shampoo under there, and then you have to try to rinse it out, and you're like sort of reaching your fingers under here to clean your cheeks.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's a hassle, but when you've had a headset on for this long, any amount of like water running down or sensation on your face is honestly really nice. So I feel mostly clean, but my head could use some extra care. I'll say that.
That'll be a nice thing when you're done to have an actually super clean face.
Yes, it'll be nice.
So we've seen you've had over $1,000 in donations. How much more would you need to cover the full investment you made to do all this?
So the full investment to cover, so let's say just the treadmill, to cover the entirety of the treadmill, I need to get to $1,878. And we are less than 800 away from that. We are less than, I'm trying to remember, I had an exact number, but we are less than 800 away from that, which is absolutely crazy to me. When I started this out, I set my donation goal to 300 because I thought, I'm not that big. I don't expect that many donations. We're having fun. 300 seems attainable. We hit 300. I was like, oh, well, that's super cool. We had amazing donations coming in from the amazing people that have been incredibly supportive. And I was like, all right, well, better up the donation goal, right? So I up it to 500. And then that night, backtracking just a little bit, before we hit the 300, just before, I agreed to do one squat for every $1 that was donated. That was Pika Petey's idea, because he likes to get people to do squats. And it worked because we hit 300, and then I upped it to 500. And that night, we had something like almost $800 worth of donations come in.
Oh my
from people.
gosh.
And it was all at once. His name was Bloody Bones. He came in, he donated $250. And then
Wow.
Pika jumped in and he donated like another $100. I don't want to forget names here. Try to Pass jumps in, another 25. PBN jumps in, he donates. There was Jacob and Kaylee, they jump in, they donate. And we get I left some names out, but all of a sudden all these people are just donating. And I'm sitting here doing squats like I'm going to die because all of a sudden I have to do more squats than I have ever done in a day before.
Oh my gosh.
And so we hop into VR chat and Pika, we go to this squat workout gym that counts the squats, because eventually it got so high that I was going to start losing count. And he did some of the squats for me, and some people from the stream hopped in, and I did about 400 squats yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Because of all of these donations that came in. And so my legs today, I've been standing up like an old man with creaky knees because they are sore. But I'm still committed to doing a squat every time a donation comes, for doing a squat for every dollar that comes in. So if we hit the goal, I still have like almost 800 squats left to do before I take off the headset.
It may end up running long.
It may end up running long. You guys can extend it if you want to make me do squats.
Well, between the squats and the running on the treadmill, you hypothesize you might end up losing some weight. But I've been watching a lot of the stream, and I've been wondering, between having to cook through a headset and then trying to struggle to hurry up and eat during a live stream, what do you think your nutrition is like, and your cooking and your eating overall? How do you feel?
Yeah, nutrition wise, I would say I'm getting lower quality nutrition because for the most meals, I am eating the easiest thing possible because, like you were saying, I'm live, so I'm trying to take as little time as possible. And also, it's just hard to cook using the pass-through that you get in the Quest, right? And so I would say my nutrition quality is lower. I've actually probably been eating less. So there is a good chance I've lost weight. But I think even more likely is that I have gained muscle to compensate for fat loss. I will say that.
Maybe, or all your muscle is being eaten alive by your body. It's like, we need food.
Yeah. It's there's been a couple of times because I have a horrible eating schedule, and I keep wanting to do dinner like way later than makes sense as far as like doing the stream goes. And so there have been nights that I've ended up like skipping dinner and then getting really into a game or an activity in the evening, and then I think it was night 2, maybe it was night 3, but we were doing some really physically intensive games, and I hadn't really eaten dinner, and I was getting lightheaded, and I was like, oh my gosh, hold on, I gotta stop or I'm gonna pass out. And I had to sit down and just drink some water, eat something.
Oh man.
I haven't gotten that bad again because I've been way better about making sure I'm eating.
Oh my gosh, that's rough. Between the terrible sleep and the not much food and the lots of exercise, that's probably makes things a lot more difficult.
It's definitely been stressful. It has definitely been a stressful experience, but it's like the good kind of stress that makes you grow.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that it seems like your breaks, like sleep and showering, have become a bit more frequent and longer. I'm wondering if it's maybe nice for you to get away from the stream a bit with all that stress that you're under.
Yeah, I've definitely sleeping has started. I have slept past my sleep time pretty much every day now. And I added, like I mentioned this a little bit, but I added a second shower at night. And that one's just because you feel gross, and it really helps me sleep to have that second shower. But yeah, it really is just that it's nice to have a little bit of a break, because when you're asleep, sure, I'm still on camera, but I'm not having to make sure I'm entertaining. I'm not having to make sure that I'm keeping up with chat. And so, yes, the longer sleep is a result of just wanting a little bit longer break there. So yeah, you're right on the money.
You got that physical fatigue and that mental fatigue just building up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. But speaking of the fatigue, let's imagine tomorrow a millionaire or someone like Mr. Beast pops into the stream and says that they're going to pay you 10 grand every day longer than you plan to stay in this headset and on this treadmill. How long do you think you could physically last doing this?
All right, so there's a couple of angles on that. So if I didn't have to still live stream 24/7,
Mm.
I because just like mentally that would be so much easier. I could probably go for like 3 months. That's my estimate. Going 3 months in a headset, because with $10,000 a day, I could buy like wireless adapters for this, and I could straight up hire somebody to come and help me with all the technical issues. It would make things a lot easier. However, if it was staying exactly how it is now, so streaming 24/7, and I'm solving all the technical issues, that's a ton of money, but I think I'd be hard pressed to go past a month at that point. I think by a month, my brain would be jelly. I would be dying to just sit in like, I would be like, hey, like going to a prison, knocking on the door. Hey, is your social isolation cell open? I could really use that right now. Yeah, I'm thinking if like Amelia showed up and he's like, here's $10,000 a day. I'm thinking a month if I was still 24/7. But again, I would still really need help. Or if I could like stream for 8 hours a day, I could probably do like 3 months. But as it is, my brain is melting and the stress is mounting, and I am really ready to take off this headset, have peripheral vision again, and touch grass.
Yes. Totally. Oh my gosh. Well, what advice would you give to others who want to spend several days or more in VR?
Okay, that is very good question. Okay, you crazy people that want to go spending long, stupid amounts of time in VR, okay? First of all, unless it's for like a challenge, just don't sleep with the headset on, okay? But if you're doing like a challenge, you want to be in VR for 7 days like this, right? Test sleeping in the headset well ahead of time, okay? If you got to like make a custom pillow to make it work, do that. If you need to like buy a different head strap, invest in a different head strap, okay? Because sleeping has been the toughest part of this. And I wish I had properly like taken several nights out of my schedule to just sleep in the headset and figure that out. So that is my number one advice. Get sleeping figured out so you can actually have a solid rest every night. Okay. That is my absolute number one. Okay. That is my number one piece of advice. And from there, if you're going to live stream it, probably don't start with a week. Maybe start with like streaming like 4 hours one night just to make sure that that you enjoy it. Luckily for me, I've really thoroughly been enjoying talking to people in chat and being live. But let's say like day one, I realized, oh no, I hate this. I'd be stuck for a full week, right? Yeah. So my top advice, make sure you can sleep. Test live streaming before you go for something long term like this. And then number 3 is just have a good reason to do it, right? Make sure that you have a clear goal in your mind, because that's what's really been pushing me through. Because if I had just gone into this, I guess sort of number 4 is have good support, because I have had so many people supporting me through this. That's been keeping me going. And I had a clear goal in my head. I wanted to see how much we could get. And I wanted to be able to put together a good video with a fun to share and explore narrative that convinces people to get VR by the end of this, right? So you got to sleep good, make sure you like streaming, have a clear goal, so that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and have people supporting you. There you go. If you have those 4 things, you can do this.
You're absolutely right, Joe. I feel like people always don't think about the sleeping part. They're like, oh, it won't be a big deal to have a headset on. Like, they don't realize how taxing it is to have a VR headset on while you're having to worry about all these other things too. You're trying to keep it on, you're trying to stream. It's a lot, and you need good sleep to prepare for a hard day. And so everybody underestimates the sleeping side of it, which is probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I completely thought to myself, I'll be fine. It's a comfortable head strap. I've got some extra padding in the back. What's the worst that could happen? Your body is like, why are you wearing headgear? What are you doing? Your head's warm. You have this weight on your face. You have a knob on the back on your head. Yeah,
so many things that are so tough. Well, you've got about 24 hours left as we speak. What has been the best thing about this week?
The squats yesterday, as physically draining as they were, that has been, for me, the biggest highlight, because not only were people like showing their support through throwing money at me, which was a ton of fun, but not only that, but when the squats started to get ridiculous and way hard, we got people loading in to the squat, like this virtual squat gym with us, to help take some of those squats off my back. One of the people that's been helping moderate my chat, he did some squats and he recorded like his audio doing that. We had people hopping in to physically help me do squats. We had people supporting the stream by making me do the squats. And there was this huge energy and just this buzz. And as I was down to like my last 100 squats, we had people cheering. They're like, "You're a machine. You got this. Focus on the squats." Yeah. It was just such a fun energy, and just I've never had such an electric experience in VR, and honestly, like even in real life, it was just so much fun. Just all of that support and people cheering all at once.
Speaking of, this wasn't part of the plan here on the podcast, but you just got another $20, so I think you got to do 20 squats right now, buddy.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let me look. AU Flash tipped $20 while we were live on the podcast here. Oh shoot. Okay, I've been having this issue. My webcam froze. They have to see their squats. So let me stand up.
Well, wait.
Here's one of those famous technical issues I've been talking about. We're gonna fix the camera. We're gonna do 20 squats right now. Oh, my legs are so sore already. Ow. Okay, fixing the camera.
It's only got one day left, luckily.
I know. Luckily, there's just one day left, but it's so sore. Okay, here we go. People on the stream, here we go. Let me, we're just going to do them on the treadmill for framing reasons. Put on the straps. There's a lot of straps. Okay.
So many straps.
Oh, shoot. I've been, doing everything in VR. Okay, ready. 1. Oh my gosh. Oh, my legs hurt so much. 4. 5.
Woohoo!
6. 7.
You got this.
8. 9. 10.
Halfway there.
Legs are so
Woo!
stiff. 11. 12. 13. 14. Oh my gosh.
Almost there. You can do it.
Just a few more.
You can do it.
15. 16. Ow. 17. 18.
Woo!
19. 20.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna sit back down here.
2-Bit, we gotta say thank you so much for coming on again. We're gonna make sure, I want this podcast to go out in the morning while you're still here, so people can come check you out and see the last couple hours to see you get out of this, or see you end up stuck with another 1,000 squats to do before you can get out of it. But I want to say thanks again and good luck, buddy.
Thank you. And hey, just thank you guys for your support. You guys have been in the chat so much. It has been so much fun having you there and all of the support. Just thank you again. And to the viewers still live for today, be there for when I take off the headset. It's on YouTube and Twitch. All right, we'll see you all there.
Well, I gotta do the podcast outro here, but while I do, try to pass. Just give you another $10. So you better do 10 squats again, buddy.
Oh no!
And for those of you out there for the Full Dive Gaming Podcast, remember, if you're listening to this podcast, you can stop by YouTube and you can see 2-Bit struggling to do squats here. But if you're on YouTube watching these squats, you can take us anywhere on the go and continue to hear 2-Bit breathing heavily in the background while I'm talking to you. So have fun, enjoy VR, and if you've still been thinking about VR, you're not into it yet, it's time to just dive on in.
Dive on in.
Oh my gosh.